Hello everyone, and once again thanks for joining my channel, Curator Dan Collects. I'm your host, Curator Dan. So this week, a few things before I get into what we're doing today. This week had the chance to have some conversation with someone on Twitter named Conrad Hauser, and he had me watch a few episodes of the G.I. Joe DIC, which came after Sumbo. And definitely not my generation that I grew up with. I grew up with the Sumbo cartoon. But it was interesting. It was a little silly because it's very geared towards kids. But there was a scene in one of the episodes that had blood in it. And I'm like, oh, wow, that would have never flown in the Sumbo era. It also gave me a chance to look at a lot of the characters that are coming out right now with the Range Vipers, with Overkill, and the newer B.A.Ts I haven't seen in the classified line yet, but I'm sure those are coming. And just a lot of strange variations of characters I grew up with. So like the Duke was very, he wasn't a military guy anymore. It was more like a cheerleader. Hawk was some sort of weird like if he was blind Ray Charles type commander and no one was really listening to him. And Scarlet was a damsel in distress, which I don't ever remember her being like that. She was always very strong in the cartoon, so it was strange to see them like that. Also got to see the Snake Eyes that they did release recently. Again, stuff I'm just not vibing with because I didn't grow up with it. The Storm Shadow that I skipped, which has the white and black gear, but he's a part of G.I. Joe. Not the digital cam one, but the name's not coming to me right now, but he was in one of the episodes. And Roadblock, for some reason, had a big old RB on his belt buckle, and I'm like, what the? But I need to shout him out. Thank you, because it helps increase my knowledge. I should be, if I'm going to have a channel about this sort of thing, then I should know more about the other aspects of it. But it's very, I would recommend you guys watch it on YouTube. You could probably find it just by searching it. It's very silly. And I'm sure Sumbo's silly too, has its silly moments, but it was very military based, like not too sci-fi. It would get into the realm of mysticism and sci-fi. But this was something else. The vehicles, none of them, I recognized none of the vehicles. Just these weird, like, skeleton frame fangs that weren't fangs. They were just like a seat with a rotor on it. And I'm just like, wow, this is, this is so bizarre. But I'm better for watching them. And I'll probably watch a few more because it was interesting. So just wanted to put that out there. This week, as you can tell behind me, I set up my cabinets and we'll be filling them with every Joe and every Cobra that I do. And in the middle, I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I'm probably going to end up moving these to the middle and then doing my Masterpiece Transformers in one of these. I also have a bunch of Deadpool stuff and other collections that I need to figure out what I'm going to do. I may buy 2 more cabinets because I have the room and I could probably place them here and maybe push these together or all the way to the wall and then add a 4th cabinet. I just think it'll be a little tight, but I may need the room, especially that I've been looking at the vehicle boxes and it's, wow, they're big. So we'll see what happens. I'm just going to play it by ear and see exactly what I end up doing. So for today's episode, we are going to deviate a little bit from the norm and finish off this first bin. So today we are going to do army builders for Cobra. So I'm going to have Vipers, I'm going to have the Valkyries, I'm going to have a couple other army builders that like B.A.Ts and stuff like that, just to present them, get them on the shelf. I've already opened the extras I have and placed them in the pencil cases. Shout out to Evil Dookie. And I just want to get these done so I can get them displayed and move on to the next bin. So next episode will probably be the final part of that first bin. It's going to be one Cobra, one Joe, and a bunch of other random figures that I have in there. And we'll close that up and move on to the doing some vehicles. So we'll do a G.I. Joe and a Cobra vehicle at the same time and get them displayed, and then we'll move on to season 2. But before I begin, please let me thank everybody. It's been so supportive. Destro by Design, Viper Den Studios has been amazing, has been very good to me, very helpful with my channel and helping me get things moving and get things along. So yeah, and everybody that's subscribed, that's liked, that sent me commentary, I thank you. I appreciate it. I love reading your feedback. Anything that helps me grow the channel, anything that helps me bring better content to you, I'm more than happy to oblige. So with that being said, let's get started. All right, everybody, might as well get started here with number 22 from Cobra Island. We have the Cobra Viper. And I have the 3-pack Vipers. I have retro card Vipers. I have a lot of Vipers. But I'm very excited to get this open because just from looking at him in the packaging, he looks great. Everything about him looks good. Very much more modernized, I think, and we'll definitely get into that as I open it. So we'll explore a few things. That artwork, always cool. Cobra Island map. I heard someone talking about they wanted to create this in their backyard. That's insane, and I would love to see that. And we have the figure itself. So let's get her opened up and see what he's all about. And here he is, friends. So first impressions, I'm really liking him. There's just so much detail on the armor. A lot of paint apps on the helmet. Very modernized as to what I'm used to with these guys. Not rolled up sleeves. So gauntlets, of course. And let's see the movement. That's a little tough, but you can definitely jump out of a plane. And the legs are pinned, and they do bend all the way back. And his left arm is kind of stiff. I don't know if it's just mine that's, see, like this arm can come all the way down to his side and it's smooth. This arm, which I'm thinking is because, so apparently mine was packaged with his joint reversed like that. It's weird. So that's definitely a fault of Hasbro, whoever packaged this. Helmet, of course, is not removable. And yeah, I mean, I like the very blue coloring. I like the very blue coloring, like very matte. It's not shiny. So the pants are very matte and they fit him very well. They should have done that with the rest of the body, this matte blue, and it would have been perfect. But so far, I tested the ankles, everything seems fine. And let's get him measured up, see what we're dealing with here. So I have him standing at 6 1/4, which means he's 6 feet tall in G.I. Joe parlance. And he's from shoulder to shoulder about 2 inches wide. So he's a big boy. And it's probably because of all this bulk he has on him with this armor. And that seems to be a theme with, well, not so much the Major Blood, but Firefly definitely had all this bulk on him. The hips here are very loose. As you can see mine. That's the first time I've had a figure with like loose hips. And they pull down. I'm pretty sure there's a way to remedy that. May make him slightly taller by pulling the hips down, and that seems to work. Yeah, he stands. He's going to be a little bit taller, and that's good because being that his look is so different from everybody else, I'll probably use this one maybe as a higher rank Viper. And I know that 3-pack comes with that specialty colored Viper, which is supposed to be a higher rank. But let's get a look at his accessories, see what's going on. I love the backpack. This is very cool with the ropes and with the grenades, the stun grenades. Lots of detailing. I mean, this was very, very well done. Just very nice. Even has interior detailing. So this is excellent. I wish, see this rope? I wish they would have included that with the guys that have the gun with the grappling guns, and maybe made this real. That would have been really cool. But this is nice. I like it. Standard handgun. Nothing new, special there. We've seen these before. Laser pistol or laser rifle, and the clip does come off. Now, does it go back in? Or yes, it does. Take on something. I'd rather they have like access to military small arms, but as you know, this is early in the line, and they were trying to give it a modern look. We have a scarf, which you can attach to their neck. And maybe someone out there can explain to me exactly why someone with a visor would need goggles. And yes, that is very an 80s thing with these Vipers. They all had goggles on top of their helmet. Like, okay, dude, like how are you going to utilize that? I never got that, but anyway, let's get him kitted out and see what he looks like. And there you have it. A few comments. So those goggles were very difficult to get on that helmet to stay. I managed to sneak it around the back here, but as you can see, it's tearing. Not good. Zero not good. They should have made them so they could fit the figure. I don't understand that, but that's going to probably tear eventually. And yeah, it sucks. I did my best to try to get it on his dome, and it just kept flipping off, and I tucked it, and there's a tear there. So I'll probably be messing with that. I'll see if I can melt it together and maybe place it on his helmet somehow. Or if it does rip, I'll probably just glue it to his helmet. I just don't see the point in making this not molded to the helmet because they're never going to use these. You know, it's more of a decorative thing, I think, on the figure than anything. But that, I mean, that sucks because I was really looking forward to this figure, and now that really turns me off. That rip there, that's definitely going to pop. So I'll definitely be doing some maintenance there and getting that fixed up. Second thing I want to say, the grips in that gun, they're terrible. Look at his, let's see if I can get it to focus. So I don't know if you can see, but underneath his hand, like that grip is too small. So his hand won't even fit on there. So he has to hold it two-handed. And it's just it's not well designed. I'll definitely be replacing this weapon with something else. I remember the 3 3/4 came with a gray rifle. So maybe there'll be a way for me to replace that. I'm not happy with that gun. I'm not happy with the grip placement, and yeah. But he needs his rifle, man. They're troopers. They have to have their rifles. The backpack, again, I'll mention the excellence here. It's a longer stud, so it goes in deeper and it stays really well. And that's the highlight of this figure, to be honest with you. And of course the blue matte coloring. But yeah, there he is. Give him a quick stand test. I mean, he'll stand, and that's good for my display purposes. And yeah, unfortunately, I will have to probably do some rigging on that, on those goggles and that helmet. But other than that, this was number 22 Cobra Island Viper. Let's move on to the next figure. Now, friends, this is one I have been really excited about ever since they debuted. And being that I have the Crimson Twins out, I'm going to have to make room for him to stand by them. And there's a few different versions of them. And they have lady versions coming out. And as you can probably already guess, I am talking about the Crimson Guard. I had one as a kid at the 3 3/4, and he was definitely one of my favorite figures. He was just so cool, so formal, military, formal garb. And if you read the comics, they had an excellent backstory with these guys and what their purpose was and what they do in the real world. I'm excited to get it open, but let's take a quick look at the artwork. Very cool. That's really awesome. I love it. And of course, we all know those pictures. And miscellaneous blah blah. All right, so let's get him opened up, see what he's like. And here he is, friends. And I have to say, first impressions are impressed. I love the detail, the color. The mask I know should be silver, but even in black, it's just tremendous. And this is a proper trooper. I mean, the colors pop, everything is just very, very formal military. I love it. These masks always reminded me of Cylons from Battlestar Galactica, and it's probably why I like them so much. Not that I'm a huge Galactica fan, but I like the Cylons, and when I was a kid, I thought they were really cool. So let's test them out. Let's see, arms bend, butterfly, and yes, he can jump out of a plane. Arm swivel, waist swivel, superior ab crunch, drop down hips, thigh swivel, boot swivel, ankle pivots, the works, the normal, what have you. Arms bend 90 degrees and knees bend. Tough, but they get there. And yeah, let's get him measured up, see exactly where we're at. He seems taller to me, but he's not. He's at about 6 1/4. A little bit taller than 6 1/4. And wide, we're about at almost 2 inches, maybe 1.5 inches. So he's not svelte by any means or by any definition of the word. He's a big boy. Not the biggest, but he's definitely, like, I think holding him, he's probably bigger than Storm Shadow, like girth wise, you know. But yep, that's him, and so far I'm loving it. Let's take a look at his accessories. So I'll start with the backpack. Now, I think I remember the 3 3/4 inch was a red backpack, and okay, they went black here, no big deal. And for me, it's not a deal breaker. It looks just as good, and yeah, just a regular old backpack. And what I remember from the comic books, these held their suits for them to blend into regular society. And yeah, they would just open these up and throw on a suit and blend in with the folks. Now this is what makes me happy. M16. Yep, definitely M16 with a bayonet. Very aggressive, very military, very how every gun in this line should be. Real stuff. Give me real. If you're going to do fake or sci-fi, okay, I guess, for certain characters, but not for military type, no. It's got to be something that we can see in real life. And this is very nicely done. It also comes with an ammo clip here. And we could jam that right up in there. Boom. Very, very nice. So far, very happy. More happiness abound. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a modern take on probably a 45 or a 9mm. But it looks like it should look, not a laser pistol. So, very happy with that as well. He has sort of a machete, and it's got like a snake head at the hilt with fangs, and that's just really cool. Like, I'm so very, very happy. So this is more of a Bowie knife. I see the saw on top, but very machete-like. Very cool. Very, very cool. And the pièce de résistance, the military cutlass. And again, that same theme with the snake head, with the open fangs at the bottom. Nice color detail. Nice indent inside the sword. Very, very, very nice. And our 3 3/4, I remember, came with this as well. And of course, a scabbard, which is here. And it fits all the way in, the way it should. My scabbard's a little bit bent, and it was kind of tough getting it out of the package, to be honest with you. It was like that type of packaging that tucks underneath, and I hate that because you can't pop things out easily without bending it. And that's what I was trying to avoid, but couldn't avoid it. All right, let's get him kitted out and see what he looks like. Sorry, I was playing with him a bit because there's a few things. I wanted to get him in a saluting stance with that sword. So in the military, when you salute with your sword, you hit it on your hip and then you bring it up to your chest. And he could almost do it properly. But I like that very much. It fits very well. However, I have not the slightest idea what this peg is for. I looked, and I guess you could hang the sword here, but that's kind of sloppy. I don't think they would do that, being that they're so formal. So if anyone knows what that peg is for, please let me know in the comments. I would love to understand that. I looked at all the weapons, and nothing seems to fit on there. And usually that's something to hold the weapons. The machine gun definitely doesn't have anything on there that indicates that. What I do like is the scabbard can fit on the belt, and it could also go on the backpack. Very, very nice touch. Very good job. I mean, Hasbro. This is what I'm talking about. This is a great job. This is excellent. I'm very happy. This is my favorite troop so far. Out of all the ones I've looked at, this is my top notch right here. Thank you, buddy. This is awesome. So yeah, that was number 50 Crimson Guard, and there'll be other Crimson Guards I'll be opening up, and hopefully being able to make a nice display out of all of these. So with that being said, let's move on to the next one. Right, next one is another one I had as a child, and I was one of the first ones to get it, so I have very special and fond memories of the B.A.T. Battle Android Trooper. So towards the end of the Sunbow, these were meant to replace the Cobra Troopers, and they were probably even more pathetic. Sergeant Slaughter washed a squadron of them easily and just turned them into a pile of rubble. And it was like, well, I don't know how seriously they wanted us to take these when they were debuted, but I would assume that, you know, they were serious and strong and tactical. But no, they were just cannon fodder. So yeah, number 33 in the line. And yeah, let's get him opened up. And here he is. Very faithful to the 3 3/4 from what I remember. I think the 3 3/4, the inner workings were behind what they would call a refracted window, where if you would try to look at it from the side and stuff, it looks like it's moving. So that would have been a nice touch here, but it's okay. That's not important. I think I would want to display him with the inner workings coming out. As I'll show you in the accessories, there is a way to cover that. And I don't remember if the cartoons, if these were exposed or not. I just don't remember, to be honest with you. I'll have to probably watch an episode with the bats and make note of that. So arms bend the way they should. You can definitely throw him off a plane. Just notice that detail there, some pistons and what have you on the backpack or the back portion. Ab crunch, thigh and boot cut, and ankle swivels. They have very funky boots. So let's see if I could bring that up to you. Robot feet for sure. Yeah. I mean, these aren't meant, they're supposed to be intimidating, and when they debuted, I remember they were intimidating, man. The Joes were like, what in the world is this? And they're just shooting at them, and they just keep coming, you know? It was Dr. Mindbender's inventions. The hands are removable, and you'll see why here in a moment when I review the accessories. And yeah, this is him. This is what he looks like, and this exactly I remember it as a kid. Maybe not so orange. I think they were yellow. But yeah, he's cool. I like him. Let's measure him up. He's at 6.5. He's a tall dude. And that's appropriate because they were bigger. And wide, let's see, we're looking at about, wow, over 2 inches wide. So he's big, man. He's a big boy. So cool. That's cool. I mean, even in my palm, look at that. He's big. I like it. Let's look at the accessories real quick. So we have a backpack, and the 3 3/4 did come with a backpack. I'm not sure what those are. They look like marital aids, but I don't know if he's getting married or not. That's weird. I have no idea what that would be for. Some inner workings here. It looks like maybe some kind of gears or mechanism. And all it is a holder for the accessories. Going through that, so we have the blowtorch accessory. We have I have no idea what this is supposed to be. Maybe just a laser rifle or a fire extinguisher. I don't know. It can be whatever you want it to be, right? It's your toy. You do what you like. And of course the claw, which is classic. And I wish Hasbro would have made it open and closed. That would have been awesome, awesome, awesome. But it's okay. And a very nice pistol. However, I don't ever remember seeing them with handguns. I think maybe they might have used rifles. I'm not sure. And we have the breastplate. And we have the damaged breastplate, which is very cool touch, especially if you're doing photography and you want to show some sort of action. And the damaged helmet. I thought, when I first saw this, I thought that was very cool. That is very cool. So yeah. So let's get him kitted out and see what he looks like. And there he is. I like it very much. This part here, of course, comes off. I'm not sure if the fire effects would fit there. I can, when I finally see a fire effect, I'm not sure what figure will have it, but I'll test it. And if I can't fit it, I could always whittle down that peg or make this peg bigger so it'll actually have a flame effect. Of course, I'm going to pose him with the claw, like that's not even a question. The backpack is holding both hands and whatever that's supposed to be. And the only thing I'll comment is that, see, you could pose him lifting a Joe by the neck, right? But in order to get that done, you would have to rip the Joe's head off and snap that in because this claw won't open. If you try to just directly place it, you'll snap it. So, I mean, and I know with the newer ones, with the retro ones, they probably didn't improve that at all. So, missed opportunity. His head comes right off, sort of. And you can make him battle damaged. I prefer not to have him battle damaged since he'll be on my display shelf. I prefer to have him whole. And of course, if you look at this here, if you look closely, you can see some of the inner workings. It's kind of hard to tell, but yeah. I mean, overall, I'm happy. And of course, I have fond memories with this one because I was the first one to have one. And all my friends were like, oh, wow, man, we got it, blah, 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 blah. And I became hero of the day for a week or so. And of course, that goes back there. And there you have them, folks. Android B.A.T, Cobra B.A.T. Very good, very good. Let's move on to the next. So, here we are. Alley Viper, a favorite of my friend Destro. I don't remember these as a kid at all. But obviously they were a part of some continuity. And let me tell you, I mean, I'm not a fan of the color scheme, but they look friggin' cool. Number 34 in the line. I mean, yeah, I'm excited to get him opened up. So here we go. And here he is. First impressions, I mean, sheesh, he is decked out and full of accessories. I mean, he is definitely going to battle. I like the figure so far. Again, I'm not a fan of the vests that limit mobility, but he's very, very armored. I only bought one of these. I have the crimson ones and I have the trench ones. I just didn't see Army building these because I'm not familiar with this figure or this character. I mean, they look cool, but just not something I was interested in thinking about Army building. But he has the butterfly joints. He can jump out of a plane. That arm is not cooperating. There we go. Legs bend as they should. He's got pins. Waist swivel. Not much of an ab crunch, and we know why. So he has a ton of accessories, so I'm going to get him decked out and we'll see what he looks like. But before we do that, let's take a look at said accessories. So backpack full of grenades and God knows ammo clip. Is that a removable? No, that's not removable. I was about to say, wow, they really went all out with this guy. So just a bunch of clips, maybe a landmine and grenades. And I wonder what that's for. That's like a post there. We'll figure it out here shortly. His mask for his mask, right? Not sticking to me. We have two similar knives. Let's see if I can show them to you. We have this goofy gun, which I don't like, with the scope and the removable clip. But not a fan of these guns. And I forgot who it was that had one, and I was just like, oh, this is so goofy. Oh yeah, it was Snake Eyes, right? It was number 52. Snake Eyes has that as well, and has this as well. And Hasbro, maybe something could have been done there. He has handgun, and that's okay. He has this, I like better. Very modernized take on probably not an M4, but maybe, trying to think of the type of weapon, and it's not coming to me right now. But very nice. I like the grips. I like everything on it. Also comes with a clip, which we could pop in there. Oops, got it upside down. Boom. That's cool. That'll be the weapon he gets posed with. And the very iconic shield. I mean, okay, it's cool. I think it's very cool. I just I don't know enough about the character to understand how this comes into play, when they use it. Are they like riot shields for police? Do they deflect bullets? Do they get together like in a phalanx, like Spartans? I'm going to have to ask Conrad if he knows any episodes of Valley Vipers that I can watch. Because, yeah, I don't get it. It's cool, but I don't understand the practical use for it. But let's get him kitted out and see what he looks like. All right, well, there he is. These guns will be going to the Island of Misfit Guns. I don't like them. The shield is difficult to get on. I had to remove the hand and slide that on using a nylon stick, and I just kind of pushed it in and it fit. But I think they would have been better served making it like a open here and just snap on, you know. It'd just be easier to take on and take off. But I mean, it's cool. I like it. I really love the helmet accessory. And I don't know if people pose them like this or like this. I think it's cooler like that. But I mean, it's a cool option. But man, my boy is decked out, like, for sure. He's coming in strong. Lots of weapons, lots of accessories. Good figure. I apologize. I just don't know enough about this character in particular. I remember him being in the video game, and they were just, again, fodder. Like fodder for you to blast away at. But yeah, that is Alley Viper. Let's, oh, by the way, I forgot to measure him when I was looking at him. He's at 6 1/4, and he's about a little less than 2 inches wide. So yeah. So there he is. Backpack's coming off, but there he is. All right, let's move on to the next. All right, so moving on right to the next one, and I've been kind of excited for this one as well. So here he is. Cobra Officer. Yes, he is number 37 in the line. Very cool imperialistic artwork. Bunch of night ravens. Imagine a classified night raven. We can only dream, right? And yeah, there he is. So what I remember about this figure in particular is the 3 3/4, we had Cobra Troopers and we had Cobra Officers. And they looked very similar, except the Cobra Officer had handcuffs on his sleeve. And we always made them in charge of the Cobra Troopers, which were, you know, they were a rank below them. So, and I think that's the way I'll treat him. Since I only have one of him, he'll be the leader of the guys I do have if I do a squad of troopers for display. But yeah, let's get him opened up, see what he's like. And here he is. So first impressions, he's nice. I like him. I like the, I wish it was darker blue. But standard army builder figure, has a bunch of pockets. Probably for all, I mean, he has a lot of accessories too. I love the gauntlets. I think that's a nice touch. And that's very, very different. Let's see, he's got the butterfly, and he can definitely, you need him to jump out of a plane. And his legs bend. He is pinned, as he's an older figure. But that works as it should. Boot cut, thigh cut, hips drop down slightly, waist swivel, and an ab crunch. Slight. He does have a lot of web gear, so that's probably getting in the way of being able to use that function. So yeah, I mean, here he looks cool. I like him so far. Let's get him kitted out and see what he looks like. But before you do that, let's take a look at the accessories. So one thing I'll tell you is a pet peeve of mine. I like this gun, but it's bent. Like, you can see that it's bent, and I hate that, man. Like, it drives me insane. Like, it's part of the reason I didn't like that Jody sniper figures, because almost every one I've seen, that sniper barrel is bent, and it looks like crap. And this is bent up and sideways. Like, it's goofy. I don't like that. And I'm trying to bend it back into shape, but it's going to take some work, definitely. But I mean, I like the paint app in there. It's cool. Nice weapon. Then we also have this, which I have no idea what's going on here, but it looks cool. Like, kind of sort of a railgun type thing here, and it does have room for ammo clip insertion. Then we have some sort of rifle bag, which I'm assuming is for that, and that's probably where that's going to go if I can't get that thing to bend correctly, because I don't want to see it. It'll make me absolutely insane. Nice dagger, but again, it's bent, but I can fix that. 2 ammo clips, and a very German type hand pistol, and some sort of scope, I'm assuming, goes on that weapon somehow. I'll figure it out here in a moment. But yes, I mean, when I was opening, I was like, wow, that's strange. I wonder what that's for. And then, of course, his helmet with the chevron. Let's get him kitted out. Okay, and here he is. I didn't pose him with the guns yet, and I'll explain here in a second. But knife fits in properly. That side arm there, that's nice. He has pockets in the back, and I'm not sure what they're for. There's a scope accessory that's really, really tiny. And it probably goes in there, but I mean, and he has another one for his clips back here too, but I managed to fit both clips in the guns. Now this, it's okay. I like the Cobra symbol there. I mean, that's cool, and he looks good. And then we have this, right? I mean, I don't know. I would have probably not, or put the clip on the bottom here. It just looks weird. And the thing is, this will not fit all the way in there, right? So this is probably one you have to pose him with. And another thing, this backpack was not easy to get on. I really had to jam it in there. Now, as I was telling you with the scope, as you can see, that tiny thing, that comes off. Why? I just, easy to lose. Be careful. I managed to bend the gun a bit so it's not all wonky. And this is the gun he should, I mean, I don't know. I probably won't do these guns. Like, and I'm sure this is the one that's meant for the barrel or for the bag, sorry. But I would have to take this off. See how tiny that piece is? Then stuff that in there and now it'll fit. And then I guess this would go in here, but it's disappointing. It's just, this is like extra cost for nothing. And it won't even fit in here properly. Like that's begging to get lost. So I'll mess with him a little bit more to maybe see if I can get that to fit. Maybe I'm putting it upside down. Yeah, it's very disappointing. And it just comes right off. And I didn't see where if it fit on the other weapon at all. And it just so unnecessary. But I like him as a figure. The accessories or the weaponry is probably not what I would expect. So maybe I'll just pose him with that simple Luger. And yeah, and these weapons can go into the Island of Misfit Guns. And finally, to the last of our army builders. We are here at the first actually plastic-free packaging. I think oh no, that's a lie. The Snake Eyes was the first one. And now we are going to do the Valkyries. Now, Cobra in 3 3/4 inch definitely did not have female army builders. I just noticed that pit bull back there with the glowing eyes. I don't know what that's about. But they look good. The art is pretty standard, nothing special. And they are number 68 in the line. 68. And yeah, let's get her opened up and see what they're about. Okay, and here they are. First impressions, and actually I'll speak on her more than her. Simply because I remember when I first saw these, I just found it bizarre that they would use this color scheme. Like, I don't understand why they didn't just go all black for 2 of them and just made the difference the race. But they did go with this tan loadout, and I could see they matched the boots, right? And same thing here, the boots match the loadout. But I mean, what I've seen people do with her is remove all this web gear and give it to Scarlet, which I'm definitely going to play with when I finally do open Scarlet. And yeah, so let's work with her since we're talking about her so much. So very svelte, and they're both the same exact figure other than the race, it looks like. I don't see any differences. Arms bend where they should bend. Very good head tilt, forward backwards. Waist swivel. She has sort of an ab crunch. Not really. I'm afraid to bust her. Like, she has an ab tilt, but I wouldn't call that a crunch, and it doesn't seem to go all the way up. Then, of course, thigh swivel, hips drop down, boot cut, ankle rocker. And we'll see, what did I say? With these female figures, you got to be careful. And it didn't break, but it did come off that ball joint. So just know, buyer beware, that at least these versions tend to be a little bit delicate around the arms. And there she is jumping out of a plane. Knees bent. And there you go. And yeah, these girls, ladies, come with a lot of accessories. So they come in this little foot locker, number 89, of course. Or is that number 68? Ah, 68, sorry. And it's a makeshift foot locker, and it comes with the 2 paper bags full of stuff. So what I want to do is I'm going to open these up, and then we'll see exactly what's in here. So I was delightfully surprised. There's a lot of accessories here, and they're useful. So I would just want to start with the one I was most surprised with, which is the extra head. I didn't know they came with extra head. And unfortunately it's just one, but that's okay. This will look good on either or. And it's just a face mask with a gas mask, but I like this. I like this option. So thank you. There's 3 helmets. So 2 are regular trooper, and this would be a Cobra Officer helmet. So you can make one of them a Cobra Officer and the other a regular trooper. That was smart. So that was a good job. Lots and lots of blast effects. As you can, as soon as I focus everything here, there's just so many, and I don't want to go through each and every one because we all know what blast effects are, but there's a lot, and that adds to the value. So I've seen these retail for about $65. I don't remember how much I paid for mine. I don't think I paid $65 though, but I could see why. They actually took time to make a lot of different things. So the weaponry, this is for me, this would be a standard rifle for Cobra Troopers. And these are the ones that the men should have came with. I'm pretty sure the retro will have these, but these are nice. And they have the clips for them here as well. Very easy to lose, very skinny. So I would just immediately put those in once I get them kitted out. 2 knives, each matching the color. 4 pistols of the Glock variety. All right. 2 excellent grenade launcher combo, probably laser weapon. Looks like a rail gun. But they look good, except this one's slightly bent. But that's okay. I can fix that. But I like that look, that aesthetic. It still it's a little futuristic, but it still has the grenade launcher accessory. Backpack is standard fare. Both the very same thing. And 2 ammo clips for those guns. So I'm excited. Let's get them kitted out and see what they look like. But before we do that, let's get her measured up, right? Just to see her stats. So she's well below the 6-inch mark. So I would say 5 3/4 inches. Yep. And very svelte. I mean, not even an inch wide, or probably an inch wide. So they're tiny, but I'm pretty sure they're pretty lethal. So yeah, so now let's get them kitted out and see what we got. And here they are. So very pleased with them. Variety of things you can do with the blast effects. They all interconnect somehow. The only thing I didn't like is that this is a grenade launcher tube under here. And it's kind of hard to fit any of these underneath there to represent like a cloud of smoke with a grenade. So being that it's too close to the barrel, so there's really nothing to pose there. So I just decided to put her, let me move her to the side, like this. Action pose, badass. I changed the head, and I just wanted to see what she'd look like, and she looks awesome. So definitely I would consider her maybe higher rank because of the chevron, but you can, again, there's an extra helmet, you can change that out. And here's the other one, and I did her with the other rifle, and yeah, I mean, she looks good. Everything fits, but with her, I don't think I'm going to keep that web gear on her because I'm sure that goes with Scarlet absolutely perfectly. Another thing I didn't like is if you can notice the guns go on the side here with these posts and they attach by the trigger. That's a huge no-no. I mean, it's nitpicky, but no, you don't store your weapon by the trigger. Even with the safety on, it's dangerous. So I don't know about that feature, but I know they were just trying to fit the weapons on the backpack, and that's fine. And I think every single weapon does that. So as you can see, held by the trigger by the post. And yeah, I mean, they look good. These are very deluxe, I would say. Oh, let me get that out of there. Yep, here they are. I combined 3 different blast effects there to make that one. I think it looks good. But she probably won't exist with all that web gear. What I do have in mind, once I do remove all the web gear, pop her head off, I do have a Marvel female head. And I kind of want to mess with it just to show you guys what I'm planning. Maybe I'll make her some sort of femme fatale Cobra Rogue agent, and that does not snap on, so I'll probably have to mess with that. Yeah, that's definitely going to get some sticky tack around here, and I could just pop her in and she'll look great. Yeah, and minus all this tan stuff, I think she'll look amazing. So yeah, that's all I got for now. This is gonna be a very busy platter, so let's see how they'll look all set up. So that took some doing, but I managed to get them all on the platter. And so we'll go. The Valkyries are excellent. I really like them. I'll be tweaking them a little bit just to make them fit. Crimson Guard, excellent. I mean, that's perfect. There's no notes, no notes. The Bat, very big, very bulky. I like. Great army builder. The Viper, unfortunately, Cobra Island let me down. That goggles are already broken. I'll definitely be having to glue that on. And Alley Viper was kind of difficult to stand. His legs are weird. Cobra Officer is fine, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not thrilled with the weapons loadout. But that's all I have. Thank you for sticking around. If you stuck around this long, and I apologize that it took so long. I was just trying to get all these out of the way so we can get into the next bin and start exploring the rest of this world. And what can I say? All the army, well, most of the army builders here, and I'm very happy overall. Once again, thank you for joining Curator Dan channel. Please like and subscribe. It really helps me out, helps out the channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.